What's going on, YouTube? JT's Reborn here, and welcome back to another edition of my DC comic book reviews. And in this video, we're going to be talking about Nightwing issue number 29, which is part 2 of the Gotham Resistance storyline. Now, if you remember where the last issue left off, Damian Wayne, Green Arrow, Harley Quinn, and Killer Croc were wandering through whatever the hell Gotham has become. And at the very end of the issue, Nightwing was being chased by like some sort of frost giant looking monster. So we're gonna go ahead and go through a quick summation, kind of cover everything that happens, and then we'll give my thoughts on it. So as the issue opens up, kind of like how the last issue did with the Batman Who Laughs giving the Riddler a card, this is him giving Mr. Freeze a card, which will give him like all sorts of power. Basically, they start fighting all these Mr. Freeze giant things, and they come toe-to-toe with them. We get some funny dynamics. They start to beat him like here and there with Harley Quinn and all that kind of on their side. There's a funny moment right here where Damian talks shit about Green Arrow because they're all looking for Batman. They're trying to figure things out. As you can see, Nightwing's forehead is bleeding, which is a wound he received back in his own book, and that was giving him visions because he was like sliced with that nth metal stuff, which it's all connected, visions, crazy stuff. But they're basically after this object right here, and they're trying to get to the bottom of this while also simultaneously trying to find Batman. Damian's getting pissed off the whole issue. There's some funny banter here and there throughout it. I especially like the stuff with Green Arrow and Nightwing. He's like, touche, it'll be good to have an adult around. Harley's getting irritated. Thanks for keeping an eye on Robin for me. And then he's like, what are you talking about? You sided against him, against your own family? He's getting really frustrated, and it's pretty funny. So Damian's like, I'd be better off with the Teen Titans, who are also kind of like, yo, we'd be better off without him too. And we also see the Teen Titans going toe-to-toe with more of these nightmarish creatures, and then the Suicide Squad shows up. So we have Deadshot, Enchantress, El Diablo, and Captain Boomerang. All there. I love Captain Boomerang. He's pretty fun. And yeah, so that's that. They're going to kind of work together here. Green Arrow's trying to figure out where they're at by using arrows, kind of marking his path. Damian's giving him shit once again, and these two, like, they are at each other's throats the whole issue, and it's a lot of fun. Like, just the shit talking that goes on back and forth. They find out stuff with the Court of Owls, and it's kind of leading them to a certain area. They come face to face with Mr. Freeze and his night guards. Dude, Mr. Freeze is jacked as shit. Look at him right here. Dude is like been hitting the gym like crazy. But anyways, they go against this different guard. Meanwhile, the Suicide Squad reluctantly has to team up with the Teen Titans, or actually vice versa. Enchantress petting Goliath is kind of fun. That was kind of neat. Beast Boy saying some stuff, and by the way, this image of half fish, half human Beast Boy is kind of disturbing. It's the scariest part of this whole book. But anyways, then they come toe-to-toe with an army of Robins, which comedically is Beast Boy's greatest fear. So it's like an army of demonic Damians. Indeed, Garfield Logan name is the Dark. It's Robin. Yada yada yada. Trying to summarize everything that happens. So anyways, they go toe-to-toe with more of these characters. Nightwing's like, okay, the Owl's Guard nest is right there from the Shadow Perch. Let's go ahead and go in this area right here. They head into this kind of secret area. Not really secret, but like this is where basically Nightwing's head has been kind of telling them like this is where they should be going. And they come across basically an armory of weapons. Green Arrow's having his things. Damian is a little frustrated because he's like, why are we going to fight these things? We should be looking for Batman. He's really frustrated because everyone kind of looks down on him. He thinks everybody just thinks of him as just a child who can't really do anything. And he's just frustrated that his father's missing. He's like, you think he always knows best? You never doubt. What's wrong with you? Dick kind of grabs him and just kind of stops him and gives him a hug. That's what I like about Dick Grayson. I think Dick Grayson knows how to deal with Damian better than anybody. So like he's like, you know what, we'll fight up, it'll be okay. And he gives him a hug, which, because Damian's just kind of acting out because he's incapable sometimes of showing his more vulnerable side. He can't make himself seem weak in front of everybody. He's got to put on a bit of an act here too, because he is secretly he is the most insecure member of the Bat family, always kind of full of self-doubt and trying to judge his self-worth, and he struggles with his emotions a lot, which is why Dick Grayson's really good to kind of bring out the more vulnerable side in him. But anyways, so they go toe-to-toe with the Frost Giants. They all come out with these sweet new looking armor. I like Killer Croc's thing. Green Arrow's just kind of have like this Viking look. Damian's got this really cloaked thing. Harley's just got a crazy Viking. Again, I like the armor. They got the Quartz Armory. Again, all this crazy stuff. They're going toe-to-toe with it, and they basically have to fight stuff. And there's some funny moments. Again, the strongest aspects of this issue is the dynamic, I think, between Green Arrow and Damian. Just kind of the shit-talking that goes on back and forth constantly. And Damian kind of snaps at one point, and, like, Dick has to hold him back from going even crazy. He's like, all right, we're done. He's like, oh, I've got to get him. And then they find the other card, which is what the Batman Lasso gave him. And they're basically like getting more visions, and the issue kind of ends with the setup of the suicide. It's going to come up in the next Suicide Squad issue, which is them going to Poison Ivy. So like each issue kind of has their own card. Looks like they're facing off against demonic versions of the Titans and the Suicide Squad. And yeah, so that's pretty much the gist of the whole issue. Again, I'm sorry my summary of it is kind of like all over the place, but again, there's a lot of stuff that happens. You got a lot of characters thrown in here, but the gist of it is it's kind of like in some ways like, okay, the last issue we had to deal with the card and the Riddler maze. This issue we're dealing with card and Mr. Freeze's obstacles to get to the next point. So it's kind of like they're going through like different levels of a video game, like, okay, and then we find these cards which given the villains like all sorts of power-ups, and we got to try and find and stop them while Damian's looking for his father and Nightwing's helping and all that other stuff and trying to save the world. So that's the gist of it. This issue in some ways was actually a little bit more fun than the first one. There's a lot of stuff that kind of happens that ties into other stuff, so if you're not really familiar with that, then it may seem a little bit tougher to follow. But what I like about some of these crossovers, and that's like, okay, if you want to figure what this stuff is out, you got to go back and read some of the other things, and they leave a little asterisk in the text to let you know, okay, so this happened in this issue here. It's like, oh, okay, thank you very much. I'll go be sure to check that out next time. But yeah. Is it better than the previous one? I like the art style. I think the dynamic is, and like the tension is more on display here. I like the moments with Dick Grayson being, again, a older brother / kind of father figure to Damian. I think he is the best father figure in Damian's life, at least from what I've read in the comics. I know Bruce and the Tomasi Batman run's really good, but I think Dick Grayson is probably the better father figure. If I'm being honest, that's just me, because he knows how to work with him. He's not afraid to show a more vulnerable side around him, whereas Bruce is a little bit too stubborn, because Damian and Bruce are a lot more alike, and when you have two people who are pretty stubborn and not really capable of showcasing their emotions as well, it's better to have somebody who's willing to be open up. But yeah, so this was a fun issue. I like some of the funny bits with the Teen Titans as well, and I'm looking forward to going back and reading the dynamic between them and the Suicide Squad. I really like this team. I think this team is pretty exciting. There's all these different dynamics at play. You got Killer Croc in there. Harley Quinn is just an agent of chaos. And the shit-talking between Damian and Green Arrow has been a lot of fun, and I just can't get enough of it. I want to see these two argue just constantly, because I think it's a lot of fun. But yeah, that's it on the Gotham Resistance storyline part 2. There's some funny bits. The art style works. The dynamics are pretty strong, and I enjoyed it. And I'm looking forward to reading the next issue, which comes up in the upcoming Suicide Squad issue, which was issue number, which I'll cover next. Suicide Squad number 26, which is the third part, and then we'll conclude in the Green Arrow books for the final part of the Gotham Resistance storyline. But anyways, those are my thoughts on it. What are your thoughts on Gotham Resistance Part 2, Nightwing issue 29? Let me know them in the comments section down below. Be sure to hit the bell for notifications, like this video, share it with your friends, and my iPhone thing is popping up here, which is really annoying. And as always, take care now. Bye-bye then, and I will see you all in the next video. Peace.